Welcome in, my fellow fitness enthusiasts, to today's fitness challenge coming to you from Revision Training. My name is Tyler Marin, and today we're going to be focusing on our feet. It's very, very, very important. You might have looked at the title of this video and like, yeah, I don't know, I'm going to pass. I'm glad that you clicked on it though. I'm very, very glad that you are here. Whether you are a beginner or an expert, you gotta realize your feet are integral to good health and good sport performance. So we'll go over some of that. We're gonna do some stretches, some balance exercises, some strengthening movements today. We're gonna take care of our feet. Let me introduce myself to you real quick. My name again is Tyler Marin. I am owner and founder of Revision Training, LLC, where our mission is to bring accessibility in fitness to all populations, sighted and visually impaired alike. I'm a personal trainer, I'm a motivational speaker, and a 3-time Paralympic athlete, as well as being a husband and father and a lot of other things in between. So I'm super excited to be bringing this information to you in a format that is accessible. So if you're watching this, you're fully sighted, I've got a full video camera here. You guys can see everything that I'm doing. But if you're visually impaired, you can't see the screen, no worries at all. I'm going to be describing in great detail everything that I'm working on, everything that I'm doing, so you should be able to follow along without a problem. So be sure to like and comment on this video, give me a thumbs up, share it, make sure that people get this information, because not only do I think this is good information for your overall health, but especially for those who are visually impaired who struggle to find good instructive videos for fitness. That's what I want to bring to you. So be sure to share this and invite people to join these resources. So let's talk about your feet a little bit. Your feet are extremely dynamic, okay? They're very strong, they're very flexible, and they're supposed to be very, very stable. Now, if you think all of your weight drives down into your feet every time you move, every time you step, the amount of stress and strain that your feet take, especially when running, jumping, jogging, twisting, turning, can be up to 3 times your body weight. If you're lifting weights, that can increase the tension in your feet as well. So there's a lot that happens in the feet. And unfortunately, we live in a society where what we do from a very young age is we cram our feet into shoes that'll tighten up, bind the feet, won't let them move very easily. And a common phrase is it kind of trains our feet dumb, right? We don't know how to move and flex and strengthen our own feet. We use these big arch supports in our feet to buttress up the arches of our feet. And any good architect will tell you one of the quickest ways to ruin an arch is by pushing it up from underneath. So there's a lot going on here that I want to unpack in this video. I'm going to try to keep it short and concise and give you guys a couple of ideas. First and foremost though, anytime you're dealing with any type of injury, pain, chronic illness, always check with your physician. So if I give you some advice in this video and it's contrary to what your physician has told you or you have questions on it, first of all, go ahead and comment, let me know, reach out to me. But secondly, always follow your physician's advice and be sure to ask them questions as well. They want to learn and they want to help you as well. So when we talk about some of the qualities that we want to find in your feet, strength and flexibility are 2 things that we really want to focus on. Those are going to be 2 main categories today. We're going to talk about flexibility and myofascial release. We're going to talk about strength, and then I'm going to give you a couple of balance exercises as well. We're going to start off with some flexibility. So I have on the floor right in front of me here a yoga mat. I'm sitting in a chair. Some of the flexibility stuff we're going to be doing from a chair position. Some of it's going to be standing up. Honestly, most of these exercises, most of these movements, you guys have the choice. So if you want to stand up, you want to sit down, both are fine. I'm going to describe to you what I'm doing and the way that I prefer to get it done, but it's up to you. Well, let's start off with some flexibility. So I'm barefoot, okay? Makes sense, right? We want to make sure that we're able to move and flex our feet. Just like the fingers of your hands, you can wiggle your fingertips all over the place. You can splay your fingertips open. You can bring them together. There's a lot of play and flexibility in your hands. Your feet need to be able to do the same thing. So as long as you're comfortable with it, shoes off, socks off, let's go barefoot. Let's let our toes and feet move like they're supposed to. Let's start off with the flexibility piece. We're gonna do a toe stretch, 3-direction toe stretch. So go ahead and take one foot and place the outside of your ankle on the opposite thigh. So I've just lifted up my left foot. I've got my outside of my left ankle on my right thigh, kind of close to my knee. And I'm just gonna grab my big toe. Now your big toe is where a lot of the work happens. That's where you push off. That's where a lot of the tension goes through your foot, is through the big toe. Very, very, very important. So we're gonna stretch it in 3 directions. The first, we're actually just gonna grab that big toe and you're gonna pull your toe up towards your shin. You're gonna stretch out the bottom of your foot. So you're stretching the tip of your toe towards the bottom of your foot. You can hold this for about 5 to 10 seconds. All of these movements that we're gonna do today, we're gonna hold for about 5 seconds or so, and then we'll switch it up. You can always do a little bit more. You can repeat, totally fine. Let's go the other way now. So we're gonna push the toe down. We're gonna stretch out the top of the foot by pushing the top of your toe kind of towards your heel. You're trying to like bend, plantar flex your foot by arching it, pushing your toe towards your heel, stretching out the top of your foot. Good, we hold that just for a couple of seconds. Try to sit up tall while you're doing this. Try not to slouch. Kind of caught myself there. Slouching a little bit. Now, take your toe, and again, either hand, it doesn't matter. You can grab it with the right or left hand. Stretch it out with whatever hand feels comfortable. Now I'm actually very gently, when we do these, be sure to be very gentle with your toe. Now I'm gonna actually stretch my toe laterally. I'm gonna pull my big toe away from my little toes. Okay, so I'm kind of opening up that space between my toes and allowing a little bit more flexibility and movement. Again, we grow up stuffing our feet into shoes. This binds up your toes, doesn't allow them to become flexible and mobile, so you can develop things like bunions and hammer toe and things like that. We want to try to get them stretched and moving. Now we can go back and forth and stretch out a couple of times. Again, just this basic stuff. If you watch this video and you're like, wow, I've got big feet problems, I don't want to do all the other crazy exercises, start off with just some toe stretches. Also, when you pull that toe up towards your shin, so that first stretch we did, you can actually take your opposite hand and you can reach down and massage the bottom of your foot, right in the arch of your foot. As you pull that toe up, you should feel some of the cords and the tendons in the bottom of your foot stretch open. You can gently just kind of rub your fingers around a cross friction massage, up and down the foot, opening up those tendons a little bit, okay? And then you can repeat those stretches on both sides. So great stretch to mobilize the toes and mobilize the foot. When we look at some of the best sprinters and runners, especially ones that grow up in areas where they don't tend to wear real high quality shoes necessarily. You think about like the prominence of runners in Kenya, for example. A lot of them have very, very strong, very flexible feet, right? And they generally don't have any type of foot issue found in their society, as much running as they do. So that is our first stretch. I'm gonna show you guys a next stretch. Now this one's gonna be a little bit more intense, and we're gonna be down on the yoga mat for this one. Again, go at your pace, go at what feels comfortable. If this is a little bit tender, a little tight for you, totally fine. Just do what you feel comfortable with. So I'm gonna be down on the yoga mat now. I'm on my hands and my knees, okay? So I'm on all fours. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna curl my toes under. So instead of the tops of my feet resting on the floor, I'm gonna put the tips of my toes on the floor. So already I'm kind of feeling this stretch in my foot. I've got my toes turned under, trying to point my toes towards my knees as far as I can. Kind of creates this big gap where my shin is off the ground now. Now I'm gonna sit back as far as I can, kind of resting my hips towards my heels. If you can put your hips right on your heels, great. If you're flexible enough, that's gonna increase the tension in your in the bottom of your feet, your extensors, the arch of your foot. Sorry, I'm getting my words together here. And as you sit back, I'm gonna keep my hands on the floor. Now, some of you might be flexible enough, you can sit right up on your feet. This is gonna put a lot of pressure on your toes. If you're comfortable with that, go for it. I'm gonna keep my hands on the floor just so I can control the pressure on my feet a little bit more. Now that we're back in this position, Let's go ahead and just kind of rock side to side just a little bit. So I'm kind of shifting my hips left, shifting my hips right. This kind of rolls my feet left and right as I'm driving my toes into the floor and stretching out the bottom of my feet. And some of you, again, this might be a little intense. You want to come up just a little bit, take some pressure off. That's totally fine. If you're not feeling it too much, go ahead and sit back a little further, listen to your body. Okay, so we rock back and forth a little bit. This stretch has 3 stages. This is stage 1. Okay, so this is going to stretch the bottom of your feet. This is going to stretch into the tendons of the heels. This is stage 1. Okay, stage 2 now, come back up to all fours. We're going to go into a downward dog position. So those of you who are into the yoga, this is going to be a little familiar to you. So I'm on my hands and knees. I've got my toes curled under, just like that starting position that we just had. Now I'm gonna push my buttocks up in the air. I'm gonna straighten out my legs and I'm gonna push my heels towards the ground. So I'm up on my hands and the balls of my feet. My knees are straight. My head is hanging down between my arms and I'm driving my heels towards the floor, okay? So this is gonna stretch not so much in the bottom of the feet, although it will a little bit. This is gonna stretch into your Achilles tendon and into the 2 major calf muscles that you have, your gastrocnemius and your soleus. Now, while in this position, we're gonna alternate back and forth between a straight knee and a bent knee. So I'm pushing both heels towards the floor, but I'm gonna take my right knee, I'm gonna flex it just a little bit, just bend it a few inches, and then I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna bend my left knee and straighten my right knee. Then I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna bend my right knee, straighten my left knee. So it's a very, very, very short movement. Go back and forth a few times. It's a short movement because I'm not trying to take the pressure off my heel. I'm trying to keep driving my heel to the floor on both sides, but on the one side with my knee straight and the other side with my knee slightly bent. That's gonna shift between the gastroc and the soleus. Perfect. This is stage 2. And last one here, go ahead and come back down to your hands and knees. We're going to stage 3. All of this is the flexibility portion. Now, on your hands and knees, instead of curling your toes under, point your toes back behind you, put the tops of your feet on the floor, and same thing, we're gonna sit back as far as you can, stretching out your shins, stretching out the tops of your feet. Now for this one, I'm actually gonna come all the way up. I'm gonna take my hands off the floor. You can keep your hands on the floor and control that movement. Shouldn't be any pain in the knees. Your knees, your hips, your heels, your toes, everything should be equal width, right? So I don't have my knees right together. I've got my knees about 6 inches apart, tops of my feet on the ground. I'm actually gonna sit up because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach back and I'm gonna grab my toes with both hands and kind of lift them up off the ground. So this is gonna give me a little extra stretch in the tops of my feet. Okay, so as I'm sitting here taking a couple deep breaths, we can actually hold this for about 5-10 seconds or so, and then you can repeat that series. You can go through those 3 stages again. So those are the flexibility exercises. There's a few more that we're gonna work on that are kind of built into the strength. A lot of these will cross over, but those movements are gonna help create a lot more flexibility and play in the muscles and tendons of your feet. And that's gonna help improve your foot health, which in turn improves your body's health. So one more piece with the flexibility, then we're gonna get to some strength work. Let's talk about myofascial release, okay? So when you get a massage, a lot of times what you're doing is you're breaking up adhesions in the muscles and the fascia of the body. You want your muscles and tissue to be able to smoothly flow across one another, and sometimes the fibers and the tissue can get bunched up and knotted up. So when you get a massage, you actually break up those adhesions. Now you can get a massage from another person, or you can use a tool to massage yourself. So one thing I have here, I have a baseball. Another thing that's really easy to use, a golf ball. If you have a lacrosse ball, any kind of small, round, hard object. If you don't have anything like that, you can take a water bottle and fill it with cold water, or even stick it in the freezer. We're gonna use this to roll the bottom of our foot. Okay, so this is really great. Again, if you have some tendency to be a little bit inflamed, using that frozen water bottle can really help with pain in the arches of your feet. I wouldn't recommend rolling too much if you're already feeling inflamed, right? We're not trying to overstimulate, over-irritate those muscles. But a little bit of rolling, 2 or 3 minutes at a time, a couple times a day, that can go a really long way for breaking up a lot of those adhesions that can cause the irritation in the first place. So a few different ways that we can do this. I'm sitting back in the chair now. I've got my left foot flat on the floor. I've got my right foot up on the ball, and I'm just kind of rolling it back and forth from the base of my toes right down to my heel. I'm letting it roll along the inside of my foot where that arch is. I'm kind of shifting my foot so it rolls along the outside edge. There's not a real direct science to this, just, you know, kind of rolling it back and forth. But there are a couple of things that you can do where we can do some trigger release. Okay, so I'm gonna roll it up towards the base of my toes. I'm gonna roll kind of towards my big toe. I'm gonna pause there. I'm gonna put some weight down on the ball. So I just press into it. I'm gonna try to get that area, that tenderness to release. I'm gonna wrap my toes around the ball, and then I'm gonna lift my toes up, and then wrap my toes around the ball again, and just kind of flex and extend, and then I'm gonna roll it out a little bit again. So I'm gonna roll from the ball of my foot to my heel, back and forth, and then I'm gonna find another tender spot. Okay, it's a little tender right here in the middle of my arch. So I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna press down on it. I'm just gonna hold that for about 10 to 15 seconds. I'm gonna extend my foot up. I'm gonna curl my foot down, extend it up. So this whole time I'm kind of pressing my weight down into the ball and extending those muscles up and down, and then we're gonna roll it out again. So super good for times when your feet are kind of sore from a workout maybe, or a long run, or just general maintenance. Okay, it's important to maintenance the body using something like this. Or again, you can even buy a ball that that has like a liquid in it that you can stick in the freezer, has little like divots and dimples in it, so that'll help massage out the feet. Very, very, very useful. All right, so that is the flexibility myofascial release portion. Let's talk about strength, okay? So the strength and flexibility, again, they kind of go hand in hand, or foot in this case. Sorry, that's a bad pun. But the way that your feet move, to have good strength, we gotta have good flexibility and mobility too. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you guys some of the different ways that I want you to think about your foot movement, and then we're gonna put them together in a little bit of a series. And this is a series that I think would be really great for you to practice each day, every day, multiple times, while you're in the shower, while you're sitting down. Practicing these foot movements can really help, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and stand up. Again, you guys are welcome to do this sitting in the chair, whatever's comfortable for you. So the first movement that I wanna do is a toe raise, big toe only, just the toe. So your feet are flat on the floor, big toe comes up, little toes stay down, okay? So this is an extension of the big toe. We wanna hold that extension, lift it up as high as you can. Now, again, as we go through some of these, some of you are gonna be like, my toe's not coming up. How do I do that? Why are they all moving? I can't get the one to move. It's a connection that you have to make with your feet. And sometimes, again, we train our feet dumb a little bit, right? We put our feet in shoes, we don't let them move like this. So it will take some practice. So some of you who are in really good shape or really fit are gonna be looking at this going, this is weird, I'm sweating, I can't figure out why this is so challenging. It's because we need to take time to focus on our feet. We don't always do that, even the best of athletes. So raise your toes, adjust your big toe up, other toes press into the floor, hold for a few seconds, and then come back down, okay? So big toe raise. Now, opposite movement. Big toe presses into the floor, little toes come up. And when you do this, we're not trying to roll in, we're not trying to bring our knees together to raise the toes up. Feet flat on the floor, big toe presses into the floor, and then bring those other toes up. And again, even on my left foot there, I had to switch them for a second. I was raising the wrong one. Takes a little thought process. So, little toes come up, big toe presses in the floor, hold about 5 seconds, and then we relax, okay? roll them out just a little bit. You guys might find that your feet start to cramp a little bit doing these. This is different, right? We don't tend to do this a lot. So if that's the case, take your time. Next one we're gonna do, rolling to the outer edges of your feet, okay? So we've got 4 corners of your feet, front, outside, back, inside. So your feet need to be able to move through those different positions. Let's roll out to the outer edges of your feet. So I'm standing up, trying to point the bottoms of my feet together. So my feet are about 6 inches apart, and I'm standing on the very outer edges of my feet now, feeling that kind of stretch in the outside of my ankles. Again, if you want to do this sitting down, take a little pressure off your feet that way. Totally fine, okay? And then roll back to center. Now, toe raise, so coming up, whole foot up off the ground. This is a little bit of a balance maneuver, so we got the chair here, or you can use the wall. So I'm going to just leave my heels on the ground, and I'm gonna raise my toes up as high as I can, okay? Toes, balls of my foot, the only thing touching the ground right now is my heel, and I'm using the chair for a little bit of balance. This is a little bit of a tough one. These are really good because this is gonna work the muscles in the front of your shins. This is called your Tibialis anterior. It lifts up your foot. If you have problems with plantar fasciitis, if you have problems with shin splints, this is a great exercise to do. You can isolate this exercise. You can do what's called heel walk. So you can just kind of walk around your house on your heels for about 5 minutes. And then you do toe walk. So you walk around on the balls of your feet for about 5 minutes. That'll take a lot of coordination and balance, but that will help strengthen the muscles in your shins and your calves so they're balanced out a little bit more. All right, so that was a foot raise, okay, with the heel down, toes and balls of the feet come up. Now, let's go to the inside of the feet. So we're gonna try to turn the whole foot inward. You're not gonna be able to move as far on this one. So we're trying to collapse the arch in. We're trying to raise up the outside edges of the feet off the ground. You're not gonna be able to move as far on this one because there's a lot more ligamental strength on the inside of your ankles than the outside. So you should have noticed like, hey, when I roll to the outside of my feet, point the bottom of my feet together, I can really move pretty far. But when you go the other way, you try to point the bottom of your feet outward away from each other, you're not gonna be able to move that far. But it's still good to strengthen the outer edges of your ankles this way, pulling up those outer edges, okay? Good, so that's the next movement right there. Go ahead and relax the feet just a little bit. Next one is raising the heels up off the ground, coming up onto the balls of your feet. Again, using something for balance, totally fine. Extending, plantar flexing as far as you can, pushing up the heels off the ground, standing up on your toes, essentially, the balls of your feet and your toes, okay? Now, just 2 more movements that I wanna show you guys, and then we're gonna put this together in a fun little sequence that'll help really make your feet pretty upset with you, honestly. The next one is called a toe splay. I'm gonna go ahead and sit down for this one. Again, welcome to stand or sit. Just like your hands, being able to spread your hands open wide or close them together, make a fist, you want your toes to be able to move the same way. So I'm sitting down, I've got my feet flat, knees bent. I'm gonna take my toes and I'm just gonna spread them open as far as I can and plant them on the ground. Try to splay your toes open and just hold it there for about 5 seconds and then release, bring the toes in. Splay your feet open, splay the toes open, hold it there, and release. So something like this, if you're focusing on just this exercise, you can actually take a rubber band and wrap it around your toes and splay them open, kind of pushing against that band resistance as you get better at that kind of movement, as you get more mobile and a little bit stronger, okay? Very last one is called a toe curl. I have my feet on the yoga mat here. What I want to do now is I want to grip the mat with my toes and try to pull the edge of the mat towards me. Okay, then release it. Grip the mat with my toes and pull it towards me. So I'm like trying to bunch up the mat under my feet. Grip and pull and release. Grip and pull and release. Grip and pull and release. And this is going to help strengthen the bottom of my feet and my toes. Okay, so now that we got all of those down, let's go ahead and go through a sequence. We're gonna stand up and we're gonna just go around the feet. Okay, we're gonna start off with our big toe lift. So I'm standing up tall, everything stays on the floor, the arches of my feet are up just slightly as they should be, so this is like a neutral position. I'm gonna keep everything on the floor, I'm gonna raise my big toe up and hold it for about 5 seconds. Raising the big toe up, little toes press into the floor. Now I'm going to go big toe down, little toes come up. Okay, so we're just going around the foot, raising up different parts of the feet. We started with the big toe, now we've got little toes raising up. And again, we're not trying to roll to the inside of our feet, we're just trying to raise the little toes up as high as we can. Okay? Now let's go around the outer edges. So now roll to the inside of your feet, try to raise up the outer edges. Okay, so we started big toe, then we went little toes, now we're raising up the outer edges. Perfect. Okay, round to the heels, so I'm gonna grab my chair just for a little bit extra balance. I'm gonna raise my heels up off the floor. I'm standing up on the balls of my feet as high as I can. Raising up, stretching out the feet, working the calves. Okay, then I'm gonna come back down. Now I'm gonna raise up the inside of my feet as high as I can, inner edge. So I'm rolling to the outer side of my feet, turning the bottoms together. Just like that. Okay, then back around to the front. Now I'm gonna raise up my entire foot, heels on the ground, doing that foot raise, heels up. Don't fall backwards, Tyler. Good idea. Heels up, I'm sorry. Heels down, toes up, toes, all the toes, balls of your feet, up, 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 and perfect. Okay, now splay the toes out, grip the floor, and just hold right there, splay and grip, about 5 seconds. And then we're gonna do 5 toe curls. So I'm gonna grip my mat, pull it towards me, and then relax. Grip my mat, pull it towards me, and relax. Okay, squeeze, that's number 3, and relax. Squeeze, number 4, and relax. Let's go one more. Squeeze it with your toes, grab it with your feet, and pull it in. And that's the full circuit. If you guys go through that multiple times, and some of you, again, kind of shake the feet out a little bit, you might feel that a lot. And that's okay. It takes a little time with these. A couple of things. There are different ways that you can fit this in throughout your day, okay? So taking a specific workout just to work your feet isn't always the most practical thing. So working it in throughout the day, okay? You're taking a shower, and while you're washing your hair, getting yourself cleaned up, you can do some of those toe curls and splays, okay? Big toe comes up, little toes come up. Big toe comes up, little toes come up. As you're walking around your kitchen, walk around the outside edges of your feet for a while, walk around the inside edges of your feet for a while. As you're going through the living room, up the stairs, walking up on the balls of your feet, and then walking on your heels. So just kind of build it into your day as you do these, right? You can take a full circuit and focus on it, or you can build in those movements throughout the day to help build up strength in your feet. Now, another couple of things that you can do. One of the things that you'll see a lot online is the grip and lift and move. So like, I didn't have this type of stuff. So if you have this, awesome. Take 2 metal bowls or 2 like mixing bowls, put a bunch of marbles in one, and then with one foot, you grab 1 marble at a time and move it to the other bowl. I have here just a pair of socks. Like one thing that you can do is I have the sock on the ground. I'm gonna grip it with my left foot, lift it up, move it over to my right foot. Then I'm gonna grip it with my right foot, pick it up, move it over to the left foot. So you can go back and forth like this. Sand walking, another thing that you can do. Guys, if you have options to walk on a beach or walk in like a sand pit, a sandy area, something that you know is safe, that you're not gonna jab your feet on anything or burn your feet. Sand walking is super good for you because as you step, it'll flex and push your feet open. It'll help stretch out those tendons. And the longer you do that, the more you practice that, the more strength that you're gonna have in your feet, okay? Last thing today, guys, and we are all done. A little bit of balance. So let's talk about something that you can do, a little challenge for you guys if you would like. So working on overall body balance, but this will help with your feet as well. So I am going to balance on one foot. I'm going to stand on my right foot, lift my left foot out in front of me, and I'm actually going to take my left foot and I'm going to write the alphabet, okay? All capital letters. If you're a Braille reader, you can do the dots if you'd like. But honestly, guys, all it ends up being is a duration of time, 26 letters in the alphabet, right? So if you think it takes you about 2 seconds per letter to move your foot around in that pattern, you're trying to stand on one foot and do circles with the other and other movements up, down, side to side, balancing on the one foot. So what do we have here? We have a lot of stability work being done in my right foot on the floor, in my right leg, my right hip, and some mobility work in my left foot, left leg, left hip. Now, just because I like to be open and honest with you guys, I'm gonna show you something here. Pretty common, don't get frustrated with it. I'm balancing on my right foot. I could probably stand here all day long. Pretty steady, statue steady. I'm gonna switch to my left foot. Several years ago, I sprained my left ankle pretty hard, and I do not balance nearly as well on my left ankle. So if you can see the screen, I'm wobbling around just a little bit more. Don't let that frustrate you guys. It's pretty common to have one side maybe a little stronger than the other, one side of the body a little bit more flexible than the other, a little better balance. This is why we do unilateral exercises. We'll balance on one foot, then balance on the other. We'll lift with one arm, then we'll lift with the other. We'll stretch one leg, then we'll stretch the other. So we're balancing and working both sides equivalently to have them balance out, okay? So here's a great exercise for you. Stand on one foot, write the alphabet with the other. You do that every day. You're gonna challenge your balance, not only in your feet, but your entire body. It's gonna be good for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that was informative. Please, again, like the video, give me a thumbs up, share, comment, let me know what you think. I know it's a little different just focusing on the feet, but they're so important that I wanted to take a moment to address these guys. They don't get taken care of enough as they should be. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and from Revision Training, let's change the way we look at it. You guys make it a strong day.